Yes, hello. I am James Rodens, and today it's WNR525. It's AEW Forbidden Door. I'm not alone. Of a pleasure to be joined by the entire WNR team. Up first by my side for every WWE and AEW show, it is the fantastic Jassy Scarlett. How's it going, Jaxie?
Hello, hello. It feels like a long time since we've actually done um an AEW one. So I'm eager and I'm excited to get started tonight.
Yeah, maybe it's just a long time since you've been successful, but who knows?
Oh, do
But
you know
I
what?
got,
You just had to go and throw that in there, didn't you?
look,
You
I don't
bitter.
start on the wrong foot. I'm going to talk to you
Yeah, you
for a
already
second.
have.
No, yeah, I know. But you've been up to stuff and things outside the pod. I mean, I don't know how, but
Mm,
you've been to other wrestling events and stuff. You've been kind of killing it at the
I
moment in
did.
time, it seems.
Well, no, we just managed to come across sort of like a cabaret riot. That's what it was called, the cabaret riot in Clapham in London. That was a lot of fun. There was a lot of people, you'd recognize from, especially Impact right now. You got Subculture that were there. We had like a lot of the wrestlers that we saw back at the event in Bristol as well. So Millie Carter was there, which was awesome. Um, we also saw Nico Angelo, I think that was his name, and he was injured. So there was like a lot of like story building that was going on throughout the matches. But it was just a lot of fun to go there, and it was so interactive. Um, yeah, I'll look forward to the next event, which I think will be in August. And what I'll do is I'll definitely try and take loads of videos, kind of do a montage. We can kind of share that on our Twitter group or something,
Yeah.
like a little video of it all. But it was a lot of fun. Great.
Let's go. I mean, I guess my invite got lost, but no, it's fine. Don't worry about that.
It was
Obviously,
really random. It was
yeah.
really, really random. Okay.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, was the wrestler that? Because
Also happened
obviously,
to get someone that he's in love with me as well. So,
I was
it
about to
was a
say that.
Yeah.
success.
Oh yeah, every event we go to, wrestlers throw themselves at Gina, and
Of
again
course.
there was another
Always.
wrestler there, wasn't there?
Yeah. Oh, why have I had a mind blank? 1 second.
Mayfair,
Yeah.
Gina, I'm
in
gonna let
love
you
with
And
talk, even though I've not introduced yet. All right, so this is.
um, yeah. I to be fair, I was actually quite shocked at how much he recognized us. And he stayed behind again as usual to kind of chat with the audience. And was just really lovely. Did a nice little video shout out to Gina, which was really lovely as well.
Yeah, great. Anyway, she's not interested, mate.
Don't
All
be
right, take the
jealous.
hint. Take the hint. All right. There's only one wrestling podcast she does, and it ain't yours, mate. All right. So get over yourself. Anyway, up
Someone's
next,
jealous.
our resident NXT expert and New Japan demigod, and potentially this could be his last ever podcast on the WNR. It is Monty. Monty, high stakes today, man.
Yeah, high stakes. It's been a while. I've been here since 2019, since the very beginning. I've followed all elite wrestling before it was even all elite wrestling. Didn't even know they were gonna do it. So man, uh, just this could be the end. But at the same time, I also have a lot of other wrestling that I miss because I have to catch up with all elite wrestling. So hey, this might be the greatest. I can cut off a good how many hours of weekly content they put out?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my goodness, like what?
Yeah.
At least 5 hours a week that I
You
don't
get
have to
all that
worry
back.
about any
You could do stuff
any of it. Yeah,
you
I could
can
get
shower
yes,
again. Do you know what I mean?
exactly. I can have a life.
Stuff.
Yes, go out for a
But we
change.
don't want that. That's what we're trying to
Oh
say.
yeah, no,
Like,
no,
oh
no, yeah,
no,
you're
no, no,
right. Yeah,
no.
yeah, but yeah, I'm not trying to. Yeah,
No.
yeah, I don't want
No.
it to happen. No,
Monty
no,
just
no.
seems more angry and upset doing AEW shows than he does anything else we do. Like, it's just a
Yeah,
coincidence,
no,
you
yeah.
know?
I'm
Yeah.
playing a character on this show. Just performative. Sometimes podcasts you have to perform a little bit. I don't actually get very, very annoyed by all elite wrestling. No.
No, not at all. Anyway, moving on. Last but by no means least, And Mama, take this badge from me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark. Too dark to see. It feels like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knocking on heaven's door. I'm not going to ruin that song anymore. It is, of course, Gina, and she can always knock on my door. That's so weird, actually. How are you doing, Gina?
Yeah, but
I don't mean to be creepy. Sorry.
You would never answer to me. You would leave me out in the cold.
Yeah, true that. How's things, though? Of course, another week, another wrestler throwing himself, and you know it's a New Japan show,
No,
so
I
I'm
just-
going to mention it later.
I just can't get away from these wrestlers, James. I don't know what I do. I don't have anything special. They just fall in love with me. You know, I can't help it. So, but I'm very flattered. I'm flattered by it. I love it. It's very great, and I probably will go and see this the next show with Jaxie. So let's see if I get a proposal at this next one.
Well, here's hoping, you know. Anyway, we've got a big show today, and it's not just about you, Gina. It's about all of us here with Forbidden Door. We've got some AEW notes, but these are going to be so quick. It's going to be unbelievable. Here we go. Jack Perry beat Dustin to qualify for TNT ladder match. Ospreay beat Phoenix in a fun match. On Collision, Pratsu beat Rosa with a crazy spot. A table used as a ramp. And then Rampage felt like an acid trip with Shingo versus Dalton Castle. My God, what was that? But anyway, no point fucking around. Let's get to it. June 30th for Forbidden Door. 0 hour, which was 90 minutes. Well, it's not 0 hour then, is it? Renee, RJ, Double J, and Rocky Romero. First match with a 3-minute squash. Carl Fletcher beating
0
Serpentico.
hour and a half.
Oh, no, it's just, what's the point, you know?
Is that?
It's just... Anyway, the House of Black...
Also, I'm pretty sure that Kyle Fletcher match was never announced.
No, and you made your point, didn't you? You told us. Somehow it was my fault. I hadn't told you about it.
No, I didn't aim it at you. I just said, was anyone aware that this match was taking place? Because I didn't.
No one did. It was Tony Khan in his mad kind of, you know, trip or whatever it was.
Honestly, calm down, Tony. Calm down. Calm down.
No, just
join us down here, yeah?
Yeah, we needed another match. That's what it was.
More structure, less chaos, and that's what this started with.
Anyway, the House of Blacks, Brody King and Malachi Black battled Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii. The team of Roderick Strong, Gabe Kidd, and Private Party in a 4-way tag match. In the end, Black and King secured the win off a Gonzo bomb from the latter to Cassidy. Jaxie, what are your thoughts on this? I'm not going to start anything, but House of Black relegated to pre-show. What's that about?
Yeah. I mean, that was going to be the very first thing I was going to bring up. I was going to say, well, first and foremost, like, fuck you, Tony, for putting them on the pre-show. Like, what the fuck? It just feels really surreal and random. I actually enjoyed this match. I thought it was a lot of fun. And again, it really did showcase House of Black are awesome. House of Black rules. And that they deserve more than being relegated to the 0 hour. So if it didn't go in House of Black's favor, then this probably would have been an even worse review coming from me, because it would have been just fuck Tony Khan.
Yeah. What would you score it out of 5?
I mean, it did what it needed to do, but I did also enjoy the match, so I'm going to give it a 3.5. So
yeah, 3.5. I think would be fair.
Yeah.
Monty, Gabe Kidd is a madman, you know, but again, it seems like he was kind of relegated to this. I mean, and again, Jaxie mentioned this as well about the War Dogs not being featured. Was that something intentional, do you reckon?
I mean, yeah, it's a good point. I think that's why Gabe is like the most popular one, I guess, if you're just looking at the internet. So I guess maybe that's why he was the only one kind of pulled into this situation instead of just giving us a full New Japan type team with the War Dog being included. But I mean, they even kind of threw Ishii in there, you know, just threw him in there just to, you know, again, just to have someone from New Japan involved. And again, that just goes back to that kind of random assortment. Let's just make a good sounding match and throw guys, talented guys out there. Like Private Party is a team that once I seen them out there, I would like them to be prominent and actually pick up victories and all that. But you know that they're just gonna go out there and, you know, provide a nice moment and probably just not win, and that's basically what happened. Gabe Kids, I do like that his interactions with Brody King though, they kind of stuck out. They kind of talk shit to each other on Twitter after that too. So it would be nice if they were to do something down the line because Gabe Kidd is not afraid. He's just crazy enough to go against a guy like a Brody King and not be afraid. So it was cool that he kind of stuck out. Right, yeah, it'd be fun, and I think it was cool that he stuck out to me in this match. That just shows, just in my opinion, how much of a budding star he is. But yeah, man, the right team won. But we all know that they belong in a more prominent role, possibly fighting or competing against the Young Bucks for the titles in the future. I think that's what I can see for Brody and Malachi if they're going to keep teaming up. If you're not going to do single stuff with both of them. But for guys of that talent to be relegated to the pre-show and just something that was barely 10 minutes, yeah, they definitely deserve better. But it was cool.
Yeah, what would you score it, Monty?
I give it 3.25. It was like solid stuff. Nothing too crazy, nothing bad. I don't think they did anything wrong either. I thought it was good, but I just didn't like. The only thing that kind of stuck with me was like the Gabe Kidd interactions and some of the pairings as they kind of. Everybody just kind of got their shit in. So, yeah, 3.25.
Gina?
Yeah, I gave it a 3.5. Same reasons. And Gabe Kidd is the one that stood out in this match for me the most as well. So 3.5.
Yeah, I'll give it 3.5. Predictions. Well, I don't have prediction leagues. After the clash before Forbidden Door, bonus league, Monty 18. Gina 14, James 13, Jaxie on 8. WWE, I'm on 4, Monty on 3, Gina on 2, Jaxie on 1. And AEW, me and Jaxie on 2, Gina on 1, Monty on 1. So at the moment, Monty on 0, sorry. So at the moment, quite comfortable for me. But I did say as well, because this is like a 14-match card, if we do get a perfect score, it will be worth 2 points, but no one's going to do that. Anyway, first proper match, all went House of Black, so all on 1. Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander wrote the latest chapter in their feud, while Tam Nakano, Momo, I'm going to get this wrong, but Monty can help. Monty, help me out here. Go on.
Watanabe.
Momo
Watanabe.
Yeah, they showcased there for a new audience in the next match. Yeah, they really showed out as well. Couldn't believe it. Great. They likely won over the fans who previously unfamiliar with their work. The former won the match from the babyfaces with a hammerlock German suplex. This was good stuff all round. So, Monty, you've got experience of these ladies, though, I guess.
Yeah. Tam is she was the former, world champion of Stardom before she kind of got injured. So she's kind of been returning and kind of getting her leg underneath her. But she's very, very popular. She's Willow's partner. They fit together really well because Tam is pretty much the sweetest person that you can imagine. She's like an idol. It's kind of like her role, so she kind of just very, very leans into that Japanese idol. And Momo Watanabe is perfect for Chris because she used to kind of be one of those sweeter girls, but a while ago she had a heel turn. She walks around with a bat now. She's the leader of one of the main heel factions of Stardom, and just ultimate badass Momo. But like Momo, if you watch enough Stardom, you kind of know that Momo, as great as she is, she always kind of gets the short end of the stick. And it was no way that Tam, I thought somebody as popular as Tam, there was no way that I thought that she was going to lose. So I thought the only way that their team was going to lose is if Willow lost again to Chris. And I just felt like Willow deserved to finally get something back because Chris kind of been, Chris recently turned heel. We talked about this, James. She recently turned heel. She already got that earlier victory. And we you know how it goes when you turn heel. You start off winning, but then as time goes along, you don't necessarily win. Yeah, it just kind of goes that way. But this was good, though. It was good, and you're 100% right. I think at the end of the day, as good as it was to continue Chris and Willow, this was about having Tam and Momo kind of do their thing on a different platform.
Yeah, I mean, Gina, what were your thoughts? Because obviously we can't all be like a demigod like Monty. So for me, this was kind of my first experience. Unless he tells me I've watched them before, I'm never sure. But again, what did you think? Because again, this was entertaining for fans kind of new to this kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. For me, as a still kind of new fan of New Japan, I have heard of Tam Nakano before, but I hadn't really seen much of Momo. So I was really looking forward to seeing sort of her interactions in this match, also her interactions with Tam as well, and just see, because I don't know any backstory, if they fought each other before, if they originally had beef before, and they're playing on that too. So for me, I was viewing this as a new fan in terms of knowing Momo and Tam. But I really enjoyed it, if I'm truly honest, and I agree. I feel like Widow really needed this win more over Chris, because Chris has already kind of got those wins over Willow. So I was really happy that was the outcome. But yeah, again, for me, I actually found this match fun because it was something new. I hadn't seen Momo wrestle before. I actually loved the match between them both, and I think they all just showed their own personalities, which was really nice. So yeah, it was a good match for me.
Yeah, right. I mean, Jack's team is the same, really, isn't it? Because I know you don't like women's wrestling, but I mean, you must have been impressed.
Yes, I was very impressed. I think all women did really well. And I'd like to actually see more of both these women as well. I was kind of mentioning this to Gina and saying that we should definitely try and check out a bit more Stardom every now and again when we can. But yeah, I didn't get the memo, clearly. And I just thought maybe Chris is going to go on a flex and continue beating down on Willow. But no, yeah, my readings were very inaccurate.
Didn't you go for Willow? I thought you'd gone for Willow.
I don't know. I've only got James's list and my list up, so I don't know what Monty and Jax went with.
You might have been right. I actually don't even realise which ones I've actually gone with now.
I have to check your list at the
I
end.
thought it said Chris.
Oh,
yeah,
no, you did go Chris. Yeah, no,
I'm trying to get my list.
No, yeah, I've given you credit when I shouldn't have. Yeah, no, you're right.
No, in my notes.
Sorry.
Sorry, it took me a while to get my notes up. My notes do say that I went with Chris and Momo. So, no, I was right. I'm thinking I got that defeat there. It's my first L.
Yeah, no, well done. Well done for taking that. I would have given you 2 points there. Yeah, no.
No.
Anyway, scores. Monty, what was your score for this one?
Well, instead of Monty, I'm going to give you my score. I gave it a 3 3/4.
3 3/4. Jaxie?
I was talking on mute.
Go for it, Monty.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, just 3.5. I thought it was good.
3.5. Jax?
Yeah, I'm going 3.5.
3.5. And like you said, predictions. Yeah, Jackson on 1, the rest on 2. We get Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament quarterfinal. Mariah May versus Saraya. Seconded by the Women's World Champion Timeless Toni Storm, who kept Harley Cameron from interfering. May out-wrestled her revolutionary opponent to score the win. Gina, what the fuck, man? I mean, again, predictions don't matter that much to me, but I mean, I'm surprised you got it wrong. What were your thoughts on this match anyway?
Did I get it wrong? Did I?
Yeah, you fucking did, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh. For God's sakes, I thought I won that one. Oh no, I see. No, I see now. I did get that one wrong. Damn it. Okay, yeah. Do you know what?
This prediction's going well, isn't it? At least we got...
I was trying to think about my thought process for calling this match, because part of me was like, right, I definitely feel Tony's got this win. So maybe they're not going to give Mariah the win because Tony's going to have it and they can't both have a win. So I think that's why I went with Saraya instead with this match. But to be honest,
mentality on that one.
That was a dumb mentality, especially because I swear I'm gaining a girl crush on Mariah. Seriously, all this fighting over Mariah is making me think, well, I want her to be like mine now. So now I want to join the fight.
Yes.
So
Did
yeah,
I just hear
it was a good match.
Jaxie having a go at Gina about predictions? All right. No.
That's a first for many.
Shut
No,
the hell up, James.
the one thing I will
Shut
say, it was good to see Soraya in a match again. I know like she does get featured sometimes, but again, it's not as regular. So it was great to see her again. And I think like her presence in the like Forbidden Door match card definitely woke the crowd up, and they were so loud for her as well. So it was just great to see her wrestle again, to be honest, and just see her in a match. So, and I think she worked well with Mariah.
No, without doubt. Jax, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really like this match. It really shows how much Mariah's winning the audience over. She's got great presence in the ring, and I think she's doing wonders with the time that she's had so far within AEW. I think she really is going to go far, and I'm looking forward to seeing that continuous ascent that she's climbing right now. And I thought the match itself was great. Again, exactly like my sister said, I think it was really nice to see Soraya in a match. I know that she's probably taking it easy, taking it steady so that she watches herself and her health. But I appreciate these matches when we can get them, and they worked well together. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not to sound too dramatic, Monty, but we've talked about Soraya in her career. Was this the kind of passing of the torch? Because if so, maybe it should have been a bigger deal. But it seems Mariah May, her booking, considering she's not a so-called kind of top name, has been phenomenal this year in AEW. Probably one of the best things. And again, this is why I couldn't believe they actually are going to tell that story at All In now.
Yeah, I kind of told you when we were talking about predictions ahead of time. Like my logic was, Mariah next to Tony, and we got this. We know who wins the Owen Hart is supposed to get title shot. They're all in. Like, why not strap it on to Mariah? Even with what we saw last year, we saw the stories they decided to tell with Soraya last year in Wembley. So why not tell a similar story? But this time you even got more stakes because of her relationship with Tony, and you got a story you can tell on one of them betraying the other, or whatever. We don't know exactly where it could go, but you have a chance to tell it. And Mariah, like you mentioned earlier, she's getting popular. Like the booking has been, to my surprise. Like I was a fan of her at Stardom from a little bit of the work I got a chance to see her do with Mina, and just anything. The things she did. She was only in Stardom for a year, but if you watched any time she worked, and especially when she got a chance to do her thing in their version of the G1, she was incredible. And she's so young, like, to the business. She's only been doing this, like, I think 3 years in total. So, like, she's really, really great. And so the fact that they're already kind of, like you said, putting her in a position to where she could be, if not the next world champion, she's definitely not that far. Yeah, man, it's incredible to really think when you think about it, like you said, just how good they have been with her presentation and booking. I saw a lot of people had a lot to say. It's funny that Jackson was so positive about Soraya, like seeing these matches, and like I wish everybody gave her that grace, because like I seen one guy to say like this is like she's like the most depressing return from stem cell treatment that I've ever seen in wrestling. I'm just like, oh my God, like, is she that bad? Like, I don't necessarily see. I don't think she's been having she's not coming out there having like banger matches all the time. But I also don't think she's horrible either. So I don't know. I don't know what it is with Soraya that kicks. I guess it's just the internet off or whatever. But
there's definitely got to be like them, like a comparison from not only what Edge or Adam Copeland has been able to kind of come back and do, but also Bryan Danielson. But I do just want to point out that everyone heals differently, and if like Soraya is like kind of doing less work when it comes to actual in-ring matches, then rather than say like more appearances still, then it's probably because she wants to watch herself, wants to ensure she's not going to actually injure herself further to how she is, but everyone's different. I'm not going to badmouth like how much she's shown or how much she's actually in matches. As long as like, you know, when she's actually putting her all in. And I just, again, I it was nice to see her. It was one of those things for me where we don't see her that often. So to be able to see her in a match, you get reminded of, you know, what she did do in the ring. So I'm taking what I can get when it comes to having Saraya in the ring. I'm sorry that it's probably not as to the same expectations as how others may want to see her in the ring. But then again, we also don't know what's going on behind closed doors and whether or not she really can go as hard and go as long and as well as both Brian Danielson and Adam Copeland.
Yeah, and if she's not having the matches of their caliber, I think at the same time, even as a heel, as a character, she's been pretty good in my opinion. Like the promo segments they've given her and the way her and Harley kind of play off each other, I think that's been working, at least for my estimation. So again, I don't know why people kind of just say everything she does is horrible. I didn't think this was horrible. I thought this was cool, and I agree with you, James. I don't know if this is what they want to call. I don't know if they would go as far as to say passing of the torch, because I don't necessarily know where she thinks she's at in her career, but like I think me and you both can see that Mariah is going upwards while Saraya might not be in that main event position as a champion in the future. I don't know, we'll see, maybe, but I think Mariah definitely has the main event in her future.
Yeah. All right, so scores then. Gina, what would you give it?
3.5 is fine.
3.5. Jaxie?
I'll give this 3.25.
3.25. Monty?
Yeah, 3.25.
I'm going to give it 3 3/4 because I appreciate women's wrestling more. Predictions: Monty and Jaxie went May, Gina and James went Saraya. So it means Monty's on 3, Jaxie, James, and Gina all on 2. We've got Yota Tsuji, Titan, and Hiromu Takahashi versus Mystico and Lucha Bros. The Hills isolate Mystico at one point. The villainous Takahashi's attempted to unmask him, but the babyfaces fought back and wowed the fans with their dazzling high-flying offense. And it was Mystico who took Titan down and tapped him out with an armbar for the win. Jaxie, what were your thoughts on this? Because this was really fun.
Which match was this one? Sorry, the
Lucha Bros match.
Oh, yeah, this one was really fun actually. I think have we seen the Lucha Bros versus the LIJ before, like in any capacity from New Japan as of late?
No.
So this is interesting because I actually think that they have very similar fighting styles, like both sides of the both teams. So that's the teams. So it was really nice. Like they had like this similar sort of like countering standoff at one point, which worked really, really well. And just really fun to see. To be honest, really fun to watch.
Yeah, no, it was good stuff. And of course, Titan becoming the Bushi of the group. And Monty again. I should have listened to you. I thought New Japan would protect their new ace, but maybe it did with him not being pinned. And I'm watching next year's Fantastica Mania. I'm not missing out again.
Yeah. No, you get to see a lot of the New Japan relationship with Mexico. The thing is about LIJ, I'm glad it was mentioned. Like the styles fit because they all they're like the connection that New Japan has to Mexico. Naito spent time there. That's kind of how they got the very Spanish name of Los Ingobernables de Japón. Is just basically the ungovernable of Japan. So, you know, that's literally what what they're all about. Tsuji became who he became a lot. You know, basically more of these. Like he spent time in the UK. I think Will Ospreay mentioned this in the past. Tsuji, when you was in the UK, I mean, you weren't winning. You didn't impress me. But when he went to Mexico, that's when he returned and became the Tsuji that you saw, that you've been seeing in New Japan. You know, Bushi obviously spent time as a luchador. Same thing with Titan, who is still mostly active in Mexico. And I didn't really know who would take the pin for my team because Teton is usually pretty protected. But you're 100% right, James. It was mostly the Mystico factor. As much as I love the Lucha Bros, they don't get. And the reason why you don't see these guys match up often is since the Lucha Bros are exclusively the AEW, they don't really do much with anybody outside of. I think AAA. Oh no, they can't really work with AAA.
Monty,
I think
does
it's
everybody
CMLL.
need to know like the Mexican relationships and can't we just fucking win predictions? Like, do we have to kind of,
well, Mystico's an ace. Mystico is an ace. I'm telling you, you're talking about a future ace, and I'm telling you that CMLL is literally protecting Mystico. I told you.
No.
I'm like, I'm sorry. Mystico is their ace.
Yeah.
He's not gonna lose.
Right, Gina, I'll ask Gina this question then. Gina, for me, you might watch CMLL and stuff like this. Blood Triangle is better without Pac. Because if Pac's been losing, but Blood Triangle or the Luchas with someone else, much better. So what's the point of them?
I don't know if right. Okay, I feel a bit biased because I really love Pac individually. And don't get me wrong, I do love him part of Death Triangle as well. But they just don't seem to be very successful as Death Triangle.
Get Mystico in. Like, fucking hell. They're going to win all the time.
Like, even as a singles, Pac's not had the best run. So I am hoping that at some point, like, Tony Khan's actually going to turn around and be like, okay, this is your year, Pac, and we will push you. But, I mean, it's not, in my eyes, at this moment in time, it's not working for them. So maybe they should consider a bit of a change up and Pac just try and stay more singular, whereas, Penta and Ray Fenix can just either join with another or just stay as a duo. They're great, but I was really shocked. I went with the other team because in my eyes, the Lucha Bros job out quite a lot lately. Yeah. So I just figured that would be the same thing here.
It's our fault for watching a product. That's what it is.
Yeah. I thought I was doing this really well. So I'm a bit shocked that
Mr. Cole is the ace.
Anyway.
Exactly. And especially because their third partner wasn't their Death Triangle partner. So I thought, no, if they're in their complete trio, they're not going to get this win. So yeah, they definitely threw a curveball here.
Mystico's the fucking ace of CMLL. So that's the whole.
Chris Jericho just attacked him because he's supposed to be fighting him in Mexico. I'm just saying, Jericho ain't attacking Pop.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's why Jaxie picked him as well. I'm pretty sure. But anyway,
I don't even know. I don't even know why. I actually don't know why. I can't explain my choice.
Oh, that's great. Scores then.
I wins that one. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna give this a 3 3/4 because I still actually really enjoyed the match, and to be honest, I really would love to actually continue to see like a feud like this, like LIJ face off against Lucha Bros again. I really enjoyed like the back and forth between both groups.
Monty.
Yeah, this was really good. This felt like a great like opener of the actual show, even though it was still 0 hour or whatever we were doing at this point. So yeah, I give it 3 3/4.
Gina.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3 3/4 as well. I really enjoyed it, although I'm disappointed with the outcome.
I'm going to give a 4 1/4. Predictions. Jackson and Monty went Luchas. James and Gina went LIJ. So it means Monty's on 4, Jackson on 3, James and Gina on 2. Main show, we get MJF versus Hechicero. I've actually wrote down how to say it. Well done, me. That past self. MJF found himself in a defensive, often in the contest even, was forced to fight from underneath against a man he seriously overlooked. But MJF ultimately did fight back and leveled Hechicero with a brainbuster for the win. Monty, what were your thoughts on this?
It was good to see Max. I think that's probably what this was about. Just good to see Max back in element. Him still kind of doing. I mean, they were when they were in Long Island, so they pretty much at his home where he likes to play babyface, and Hechicero kind of played up to did a little bit of antics, but he also got a chance to get his lucha work in. So, and just be the Hechicero's very talented, so I kind of knew what to expect. But to kind of watch him work with Max was completely different than watching him work with a guy like Danielson, but still good nonetheless. And I just think this was all about just letting everybody see Max again. We have to get Max a match on this card, and I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I think to me, if I have one minus from it, is that since we didn't have much heat for it, we got more heat for him fighting a guy that didn't have anything to do with it, which is annoying with the Roosh type of stuff. I would have preferred if this could have been a Roosh spot or something, just because that's who he's been kind of, dealing with. But again, it was good to see Max, and I thought it was fun. So I don't think it was bad.
No, I mean, I always worry when I see someone crowd surfing because not always successful, but MJF
right.
did. But that's the question, isn't it? And Gina, I'll ask you this: did MJF deserve a bigger opponent, or if one wasn't available, should he have been on the card?
That is a really good question. The thing is, we all know that Tony Khan would have wanted MJF on the card, even if it was just MJF hosting the damn show. He would have been on the card in some way or had some parody. So it maybe was better that they gave him like an actual match so he had something to do. But I will admit, for me, this match came out of nowhere. So I kind of was confused as to why the match was taking place. I just thought it was quite random and last minute put together. I had no idea who Hetchy is. I can't say the name, so I'm nicknaming him Hetchy, okay? But yeah, I didn't know who he was. So for me, it was a really random match. I did enjoy the match, don't get me wrong. I think they both worked well together. And I don't know whether they've had a match before on a different circuit or something. So again, I don't really know much about this Hetchy wrestler. So I think he worked well with MJF, but I did think it was quite random, and it just felt like, they needed to just find anyone to put him, MJF, on the match card. But I was like, really? You couldn't find another like New Japan wrestler that's kind of like well known that could have just gone into a match with MJF? I was a little confused why that didn't happen, but who am I to say? I'm just a fan.
Yeah, who are you? Yeah. Anyway,
I'm just a fan that every wrestler falls in love with.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
FYI, Rick Starks.
Jaxie, as we were saying, this being the open as well, usually you expect a kind of banger, but it felt it was put here just to kind of get out of the way as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, I felt like this was a way of giving the audience what they wanted, which was obviously to see MJF. So they were like, put him first, put the audience in like a good mood, give them a feel-good match. Absolutely no one was thinking that MJF was losing this match, So, I mean, to me, yeah, this did feel pointless having it on there. I feel like I understand why this was added to the match card, and that's why, as we said, get it over and done with already, put it at the very beginning, and like I said, a way to get kind of give the audience what they want, because that is exactly what they wanted, was to see MJF. And it wasn't actually to see him in a hosting position. No, they wanted to see him in a match so they could cheer him and do all this, that, and the other. So it was there. It did its thing. I think they worked well together, but I just didn't really feel there was any need for this match. This could have easily gone on 0 hour, or just not happened. So yeah, I wasn't impressed by this match because of I knew it was there for fan service, like immediate fan service, rather than worldwide fan service.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Monty, then what would you score it?
Yeah, I thought it was fun, but I think you guys pretty much summed it up. It was just here for that live crowd for the most part, and to give Max a paper, just to say that Max was on Forbidden Door. So 3.5 overall.
Gina?
Yeah, it's a 3.5 from me too.
Yeah, Jax?
3.5.
I'm going to get 3 and 3/4 predictions. We went MJF, so Monty on 5, Jaxie on 4, James and Gina on 3. Then the Acclaimed and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus the Young Bucks and Kazuchika Okada. I think Max Caster called Okada a bitch with his rap, but I'm not 100% sure. The Bucks' antics, including use of headsets to tune out the jeers directed in by the fans, took attention away from the match. The interaction between Tanahashi and Okada was teased as the action broke down late. Ultimately, Okada earned the win for his team, rocking Tanahashi with the Rainmaker. The post-match beatdown, the iconic competitor ended with Daddy Ass Billy Gunn rushing the ring and chasing the heels out. Did nothing for the Acclaimed or Tanahashi, but go on, Daddy Ass. Gina, what were your thoughts on this? Because, it's a bit odd.
I mean, yeah, I did find this one a bit weird as well. I'm not going to lie. I just was confused why the Acclaimed weren't tagging with Daddy Ass, who is their, again, third tag partner. I get that because it's Forbidden Door, they want to do a crossover, but it just felt really random. Because the Acclaimed are part of a trio already anyway. And the thing is, I absolutely love I love the Acclaimed. I love what they've stood for. I love what they've brought to the wrestling game. And don't judge me when I say this, guys. I'm a bit over them. I'm a little bit over them. So for me, I want to miss them a little bit and then be like, oh my God, thank God the Acclaimed are back, that sort of thing. I think I could do with missing them just for a little bit. Not too long, just a little bit. But I also think that they're good, again, where House of Black were placed on this card, they possibly could have been in this match, I don't know. Part of me just felt it was a bit random, so it wasn't my favorite match of the night, I'm not going to lie, and I just thought it was a bit random. And I'm also not the biggest fan of Tanahashi, he just bugs me.
Oh my God, well, hang on, Monty, hang on. I'm going to ask...
By the way, let me just correct myself in saying I think he's a great wrestler. I just think he's a little bit like Orange Cassidy. I think he's a great wrestler, but I'm also like, oh my God, you're annoying me.
Okay, I'll come back to that in a minute. But Jaxie, I want to ask you this about Okada. This must have been awkward, Like, you leave there, the company say, I'm never going to come back, and then you're wrestling the president in a match, and you're like, it's like an ex-girlfriend, isn't it? Or ex-boyfriend. Whatever.
Yeah. It's like, I remember, wasn't it this time last year, I was your tag team partner. Remember that? Or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit weird because it's like, especially the sort of send-off he got from New Japan, you wouldn't think, like, just over a year later, they're just going to be sort of like facing 101 with them again, just seeing them. Hey, But then again, I think that flew out the window the minute that he became an international champion. There is always there's always that aspect now of him being able to go and travel to defend that belt internationally as well. So yeah, I think it's beyond weird for me, and now I'm just thinking, oh, this is a feel-good moment for him,
I think without a doubt. I'm going to wind Monty up now, so I've got 2 questions for you, Monty. First up, Daddy Arse is the only man that could beat Swerve or Will Ospreay on his current form. And second, Gina. Gina hates Tanahashi as well. Can you believe that? She compared him to Orange Cassidy, who she has said.
I think hate is a strong word there, James. Stop stirring shit.
That's what I heard.
She said she found him annoying. She found him annoying. She didn't say the word
hate. This is Monty's time. Please.
Stop stirring shit, James.
That's all I said. I find him annoying. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay?
No, it's not. I'm not going to get on her about it. Mostly because I know that it's like the version of Tanahashi she's seeing is like so much of a shadow of what he truly is and was that I can't even really be mad at it, because not only have you just like you compare him to Orange Cassidy. If I was snooty enough to be offended, like if this was like 2015 and you said this, when he still was like on top of the world, going back and forth with Okada. Even then, he was older, but still, he was on top of the world. Like, you gotta get John Cena is literally who Tanahashi is in the conversation with. So you gotta imagine if John Cena just never went to movies and he just hung around and he never stopped at all. It might be some people, especially if he's not in his home promotion either, by the way, that might look at John Cena a certain way. I'm trying to think of a better example because it's definitely some in the past of what you're seeing. But again, Tanahashi's knees are shot. This ain't the guy he used to be. It is what it is. I'm not gonna,
definitely think we never got a chance to see. We really never got that chance to see Tanahashi in his prime, and I think that if we actually did further research, we probably would, think much differently of him. We haven't seen them. Yeah, we haven't seen
of his greatest moments and matches.
Exactly. We've only seen what he's been doing now, and like Monty just said, that's only half a fraction of what he used to do. So again,
he won his first world title like 20 years ago. So
it feels like it. Exactly. It does feel like I'm defending here, but I actually have a small similar output to Gina in this aspect, so that's why I'm defending it a little bit. But like, I do believe that Tanahashi is one of the greatest. I just don't know why, because I haven't seen that. So this is why you get a different outlook from both Gina and I when it comes to his current matches at the moment. It doesn't say we don't respect what he's done for the business.
And can I just say, I was not comparing Tanahashi to Orange Cassidy. What I was comparing is like my feeling towards the character. I know that Tanahashi is Orange Cassidy is nowhere near on his level, and I know that for sure. I was comparing it's the same feeling. I like Orange Cassidy. I like Tanahashi. I think they're good wrestlers, but they just annoy me. Like Danhausen is just there's a certain annoyance. That's all it is.
Well, it could be worse because Taz on commentary. He's not having the best night. Could he miss the hour as well? Because Daddy Magic had to step in. But anyway, talk about the match itself. We're going to score it. Gina, what would you give it out of 5?
It was still entertaining, so I'll give it a 4.
Give it a 4. Jaxie?
I'm going to give this. I'll give it a 4 as well. Actually, yeah.
4. Monty?
I'll give it 3 3/4. It was good. I think my favorite part is like Okada's comedic timing. That's probably my favorite part of him in AEW in general. It's just him showcasing the facial expression, doing the DJ turntables while Nick or whichever one of the Bucks had the headphones. Like, that was awesome. And also, I just want to say, James, you mentioned it, but I just got to get this off my chest. No one should be running away from the 61-year-old man. In the fact that might be the one reason why I want the Acclaim to go away for a minute, because the 61-year-old man is the most intimidating and the most protected guy in the faction. That's the problem I feel like in the Acclaim. Why is Daddy Ass more protected than either one of them? That's it. But yeah, 3 3/4. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And again, you can tell the crowd was a little bit different to maybe a normal AW show because of the reaction to Okada. That is a true kind of superstar reaction that you got, unlike Daddy Asses, I suppose. I'm going to give it a 4. Predictions, who went the Elite. So it means Monty's on 6, Jackson on 5, James and Gina on 4. The Owen Hart Foundation Men's Quarterfinal, Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi. This was the battle of the dragons. Much like we've just seen EVPs versus President, this is the battle that we've been wanting to see. And Danielson nursed his neck injury, suffered, of course, his match with Will Ospreay, and Shingo exploited it and appeared to be on his way to victory. Former world champ Lowe showed resiliency that had defined him throughout his career, fending off the challenger's opponent, and eventually earning the victory with an armbar submission. I mean, Monty, it's nice that after battles with Hinare, and Gabe, that Shingo decided to take it easy with Bryan,
Yeah, it's funny that you say that when not only I think you only can say that if you've seen the type of matches he was having, because those matches are only like Bryan and him went hard, but you're 100% right. The matches that he was having before this in Japan, oh my goodness, like Gabe and basically, what Hanare and him did, they were just trying to beat the hell out of each other. So I think you're 100% right, even if, depending on how serious you were, because Shingo definitely had it a lot easier here in this match. It was more of a, traditional wrestling match, even though we know what Brian is all about. And I think he showed it again here, the resiliency, the toughness. And as much as I love Shingo, every time I watch Shingo, I just look and I just be like, you know what? I don't know as much as people may not know. I know Shingo is also in his early 40s, but you just cannot convince me that any of the young guys that everybody want to put ahead of, or on top of New Japan is anywhere close to Shingo. And I just hate to say, I'm not saying that we shouldn't push the future of New Japan, because damn, they need it, Jay. We talking about this. They need the future right now, the way the roster and the way things are shaking out for New Japan. They got to go towards the future. That's what they need to do. But Shingo is just always going to be in my top favorites, and one of those guys I would love to see on top of the throne again at one point. I don't know. I know I'm speaking blasphemy, because then he would have to beat, he would have to come to terms with Naito at some point, just because of what Naito stands for, he wants to be on top. So Shingo would definitely have to do that at one point. I don't want him to leave. So that might be why Shingo's always kind of on top of another division and doing his thing in like the open weight and doing his other stuff and doing stuff like this. But I think you guys got a chance to see here in the ring with a guy who we all know is going to retire as one of the best in Danielson. And Shingo was right there every step of the way doing what he does best. Just be a damn badass. This was excellent, though. This was very, very good wrestling.
Well, this is the thing as well, and I know I've mentioned it, but Gina, this is the crazy thing about Shingo, is that he used to be a junior heavyweight. And when you think about it, he towers over Brian, you're like, how the fuck is this man ever a junior,
Yeah, it is really surprising when you find that out, because when you first see him, you would not expect that, especially because he's not in that category now. So you're just like, man's must have beefed the hell up or had a growth spurt or both, So
he didn't. He did. He was pushing the limit.
Yeah, he was pushed to the limit. That was for sure. So, but no, again, just as Monty said, I don't think like I can even do this justice. Any of us can do this justice. Like, if you haven't seen this match, just go and see this match, because it's so good. I was expecting it to be a banger of a match, and they delivered. It was so good.
What I really liked about this was the kind of long-term storytelling, which I think has been missing from AEW. And Jaxie, I know, like, this is something we've talked about in the past, but this kind of the neck injury with Danielson, and again, kind of building for what we saw. And again, we know that Ospreay and Danielson are going to face off, and when that move happens, it's the reaction from it because of this. But again, even the submission victory makes sense, because Danielson making Okada submit last year with just one arm. Why couldn't he make Shingo submit with two? So again, Danielson's arc at the moment is really, really good.
Exactly. Again, I couldn't really agree more with a lot of the statements that were made about this match. I really couldn't tell which way it was going to go, whether or not it was going to be like an all-out, just continuous technical type match, or really fast-paced. But either way, I could have watched them for like another 20 minutes or so, just kind of going at it. This was really good, and just something you kind of expect when it comes to both these wrestlers. I have to agree. I did watch Shingo versus Aaron Hanare, and it was absolutely insane. So I understand what you're talking about there. But I still don't think that this was disappointing in the slightest.
Oh, no, without doubt. And I always call Shingo's clothesline the pumpkin bomber. So it's like some Green Goblin shit as well. I don't know why, but I just enjoy it even more. And like I said, I could watch it all day. The crowd was great. And well done, AEW. Nice show, respect. Afterwards, Nigel joined commentary and was excellent as well. So, Monty, what would you score it?
I give it 4.5, and honestly, they can do better. That's the craziest thing about it. I think I've seen both of these guys go to an extra gear that they didn't even go in this one, and it's still a 4.5 in my opinion. So, yeah.
Gina?
Yeah, same, 4.5.
And Jaxie?
4.5.
Yeah, I'll give it 4.5. As well, predictions. Well, we all went Danielson, so it means Monty on 7, Jaxie on 6, James and Gina on 5 as the AEW World Women's Championship. Mina Shirakawa versus Timeless Toni Storm. And Storm found herself on the defensive more than not. She nursed an injury, result from a target attack by the challenger. Shirakawa tried to push her through the brink, delivering a diving DDT from the top rope and trying for a glamorous driver. The champion fought out of it, survived, and eventually delivered Storm Zero for the pinfall victory. After he showed initial reluctance before showing respect with a handshake, a hug followed, and then a three-way kiss put an exclamation point on the proceedings. Now, Gina, I know you said you might have had a little crush. I'm sure the ending kind of drove it up for you a little bit as well, but this was a really good match.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you now, I was jealous. I wanted to join. I was like, let me join. They're going to be the best of friends. And I just want to be with them all now. So literally, I absolutely loved this match. And the thing is, it's not necessarily like this match was the best wrestling match to have been seen from women. But story-wise, if anyone else was like me, I was so invested in this storyline. Who's going to win the parental control of Mariah? You know, is Mariah going to be mad at one over the other? Is she going to pick one side? I was so invested with this storyline. I just needed to know more, you know? So to see them have respect at the end of the match really kind of warmed my heart, because I was worried that Toni was not really going to reciprocate. But it made me happy for Mariah to see, you know, both her parents getting along for once. So, yeah, I definitely love this match. And I kind of feel a bit more invested in Mariah May just for this as well.
Yeah. Again, it adds to that story, you know, like we said, and it continues that. And we know what's going to happen maybe towards the end, but we're building towards it. And again, Jaxie, as we spoke about, with the women's division, with Toni Storm especially, been booked consistently well. You know, always featured on TV, and the kind of story that we've got now makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, again, the story building was just brilliant. I think Toni really is kind of becoming something of a veteran, you know. You see like the work that she's doing with these young women at the moment, and they're just getting better every time that they're in the ring with Toni. So this was incredibly entertaining right from the very beginning. Just highly enjoyable to watch, and I too felt like it was such a feel-good moment seeing you know, Toni give in and agree to be friends. You know, I just wanted that from Mariah. You felt invested in that.
Well, I liked that, but I think Monty, it was the kind of whole presentation. You know, Mina might have my new favourite entrance ever, just with the dance.
Oh, I know, I really do. She brings so much energy right from the beginning of her entrance.
I'm learning that choreo.
Oh, we've got to. As a group, when we meet up, we have to learn and do it for Monty.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing.
Oh my gosh, that's it. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
You said it here. We're doing it.
But even Toni's entrance was hilarious. It came to me a couple of days later when I was thinking about the entrance, and I was going, that was really, really good as a Statue of Liberty. And even Nigel crying after the kiss. I mean, I was doing something else. But again, Monty, this was really good stuff.
Wow. Anyway, no, just playing. This is great, man. It was great Stardom style physical contest. Kind of what I expected with Toni's history in Stardom and what Mina represents as one of the faces. It's kind of funny that she's not Mayu Iwatani, so she's not the icon or the IWGP champion, and she's not Micah, who is the actual world champion, Wonder of Stardom champion right now. But she is probably the most popular woman from Stardom currently on the roster. That mostly because of this program, at least in America right now, because of how they presented her and the promos and just the relationship with Mariah and the Club Venus path that she has. And, I know for Stardom, it'd be kind of interesting to see. I know she's not really – I don't think she's going to be doing much going forward. She might be back in AEW before you know it. Or, for her, for Mina, this can mean big things down the line. She's always been close. She's always been trying to earn Mayu Iwatani's respect and becoming one of those faces of Stardom. And I think with everything that Stardom has been through this year and everything, it's been she's been one of those people who have just kind of stepped her game up and became one of those people that at the end of the day, if you don't know much about Stardom, you at least know Mina at this point. And I think this program is a big reason for that. And I think, like you guys mentioned, the stuff with Tony and the Mariah and all of that entrance, that's something that her entire faction used to do with her. So it's kind of cool.
This is the thing.
That
it's like, how did I not know that? Like, why did someone not show me this? Like, again, as soon as I saw it, it's like, this is coming too late into my life, if you know what I mean.
Right. No. Stardom as a whole is like that. Like, when you find out they've been around for this long, it's just like, it makes me I'm annoyed myself that they've only kind of starting to get this popular this past decade. Like, in the 2020s is when they're really starting to get popular, which is crazy when you think about how long people like Io, people like Kyrie that we talked about. They set up what we're talking about. Mayu, they set up what we're seeing now more in America. So it's kind of cool, what NXT could possibly be seeing soon with Julia. A lot of that foundation is set up on what Stardom has built, and the fact that they're just now kind of getting recognized is kind of crazy. Like you mentioned, when you think about how talented they are in the ring and then what they're bringing to the table as characters. But Mina has been doing this a long time. She's worked. She had a background in English, so her English promos were top notch for good. She can be a real star. If Stardom don't lock her down, I would not be surprised if you see a graphic and she joins Mariah permanently at some point. Because that's just how good Mina is, and I think this match showed that. And then Tony, like we mentioned, I talked about it with the Deonna angle and this. We wanted her to wrestle more, and I feel like we kind of getting the best of both worlds now. She's the most interesting character, and lately her matches have been great with the Serena stuff and this stuff. And then you go back to, like I mentioned, the last program before this. So yeah, she's been doing good. She's been upping her game, and by far one of the reasons why the AEW women's division is I think that's one of the main things that keep me watching AEW weekly is the women's division, whether people want to talk about it or not. Like, yes, it's good spread all around AEW for a while now, but the women's division has been consistent.
Yeah, without a doubt. So scores then, Gina, what would you give it?
I'll give it. Do you know what? I'm going to give this a 4.25 because, like I said, I was so invested in this match. And Monty, really sorry, real quick question. Because I was thinking this when I was watching the match. So with Mina, her persona is quite a sexual one. Is that frowned upon sort of in the Stardom scene? Like, does she tone it down a bit more in the Stardom scene compared to, like, would she have given Mariah a kiss in Stardom as well? Or are they only doing that on AEW TV?
Well, they kind of smooch all the time in Stardom. It depends. It depends on how it's probably toned down by American standards, but not really. Because, like, she was a Gravure model before this. So, like, everybody, she has a past, like, that she posed a lot in bikinis, things that were probably frowned upon in Japan. She would always kind of leaned into it. So this is kind of more, worse, but nowhere near as bad as it could be. Plus, Stardom makes bikini calendars and stuff like that with these girls, so they can only do so much.
Cool, okay.
Yeah, they can only do so much. They kind of lean into
there's Oscar pictures and stuff like that back in the day.
It's all types of stuff.
A weird thing,
that's how Oscar kind of became who Oscar became. Was kind of marketing herself in her bikini photos, and you can find stuff with EO, like all of them kind of.
I mean, someone sent them. So, I didn't go looking for them or anything, like like that. Anyway,
so that's
Jaxie.
Cool. I think the character works for her being, kind of like this kind of sexual character a little bit. So I think it works for her, and it's fresh and it's something different. So I like it. But yeah, if you didn't get it, it was 4.25 for me.
Oh, I got it. Jaxie.
Yeah, I'll give this a 4. It was good.
Monty.
Yeah, it's a 4. And I think Mariah posted pictures of her and Mina, so y'all go check that out.
Yes, 4.5. It's a 4.5 for me. I struggle not to give this a 5, but 4.5. Predictions.
The 3-way kiss almost took it over the top, huh?
I mean, not since Mickey and Trish have I been that excited. Anyway, with wrestling, I should say. Monty on 8, Jaxie on 7, James and Gina on 6. Up next, the wrestler that Gina hates, Orange Cassidy, taking on Zack Sabre Jr., the man she rejected. This was a technical.
I'm about to say she
clinic.
hates both these guys, right?
Oh my God! Wait till we get to it. I'm going there straight away. Anyway, this was a technical wrestling clinic. We saw each competitor counter and reverse everything the other threw at them. Cassidy, not nearly on the level of Sabre, still managed to surprise as he nearly stole a pin on multiple occasions. Eventually, he found himself outmatched by a master of the mat as Sabre tied him up like a pretzel with no choice but to submit. So, Jaxie, what were your thoughts on this? Because, again, talking about story, and the story is Orange Cassidy has lost everything going into this.
Yeah, I mean, like if you watched, I think it was the Rampage before this. There was like a sort of backstage promo with Orange Cassidy sort of getting really annoyed and wound up by Zack Sabre Jr. Because he's like, I was there for Zack's match, but for some reason he wasn't there watching my match or whatever. And you could tell Zack had come up and then had some sort of witty comeback, being like, I don't really need to be sat there front row and center watching your match because I'm already in your head. And you could just actually tell that he is like, this is like sort of the first time we're really seeing sort of this persona of Orange Cassidy break down because he's losing it. He's losing everything, as you said. So I thought this match was really interesting going into it and didn't actually think that these two would work as well as they did with each other. This match was really good. It was who will win sort of thing. I couldn't tell you that like that either. Where like they both, it was like really 50-50 throughout the whole match until like the very sort of like end of the match itself. I found it really enjoyable, this one. It's a really good one between both wrestlers.
And I think Cassidy, I don't know what you think, but like for me as well, even in this match, showing that he is a really good worker and it's not just a gimmick. Like I said, he can go with one of the best.
Exactly. And I think he proved it in this match because, like I said, I didn't think that these two wrestlers would kind of work as well with each other as, I expected. And I think that is a lot to do with sort of the character of Orange Cassidy and the character of Zack Sabre Jr., that sort of serious, like, talkative, loudmouth type character that would just lose his cool against someone who just couldn't give a crap in the ring. But that is not the story that was told in the ring at all. So I thought it was a great match between the two of them.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Monty, as we spoke about as well, Zack has had quite a quiet 2024. So we'll hope for maybe big things, but a victory here, Forbidden Door, maybe the start.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main reasons why I'm optimistic that Zack would not be losing, is because I think it's time to get the momentum back on his side from a standpoint of just where I want to see him by next January as far as Wrestle Kingdom goes, and where I think a lot of people want to see him as far as the G1 goes, because we know that's coming up. That I believe that it's time for Zack to get back on the right track, and I think Orange Cassidy was a great opponent for that, especially when I think about the way Zack think of himself. As good as Orange Cassidy is, I don't think he hangs his hat on just being one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. But I think, like you mentioned, in this match, he showed that anybody who tells you that Orange Cassidy can't work, they just don't watch. They didn't like the fact that he put his hands in the pants, and they didn't understand it, and they gave up, so they just say he sucks. But I'm trying to tell you, I've been saying this the whole time. The reason why, as much as I was getting fatigued with his run with titles, I understood why. Because at the end of the day, when your bell ring and you just watch Orange Cassidy, he is damn good. And I think this is another situation where you put him in there with a guy like Zack, who I think we all know at this point, whether you like his style or not, I believe everybody knows that he's one of the best, if not the best, technical wrestler in the world. So, yeah, man, I think this match was really, really good, and I love anytime I get a chance to watch Zach do his thing. It just kind of this match is one of those times as a New Japan fan, I'm like, I'm really spoiled, and I think you get what I'm saying for real, James, because you know what I mean. We get to see Zach do this to guys, stretch him out like a pretzel all the time, and I had a friend of mine come up to tell me he's never seen a submission hold like at the end where you kind of get all the limbs, and I'm like, yo, Zach does that all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm spoiled. I'm very, very spoiled in that regard since I get a chance to watch so much Zach. But yeah, man, this is good stuff, really good, and I'm happy that Orange Cassidy, if he even cares that there's people who doubt, I think this is a perfect match to put on for anybody who doubt whether or not Orange Cassidy can wrestle.
I mean, I could watch this all day. I know someone that fucking hated it though. Of course, Gina, with this guy. And before I say anything else, we could be there watching it live, backstage, rubbing shoulders with the wrestlers, if not for Gina, And I don't want to put it all on you, but it is your fault,
I truly, truly hate you, James. That is not true. It's not my fault. Zack Sabre Jr. is just rude. That's all. I found him rude. I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is probably one of my favorite matches of the night. I think these two smashed it out of the park. They killed the match. They both were just back and forth. I didn't know who was gonna win. They were both just as annoying as each other, but I honestly, I don't know. I honest to God don't know like which one I like more or don't. It was hard to watch this. Let's just say that.
I don't know. I'll get over it one day. So scores for this then. Jaxie, what would you give it?
I like this match. I'm going to give it a 4 1/4.
4 1/4. Monty?
Yeah, I give it 4 star.
Gina?
I'll give it a 4 1/4 as well.
I'm going to give it a 4.5. Predictions. We went for Zach, so Monty on 9, Jaxie on 8, James and Gina on 7. As our next match, Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata and Hook versus Chris Jericho, Big Bill and Jeff Cobb. Jericho was met with chants of please retire by the fans, fed up with his stale gimmick and general refusal to go away. The heel fell victim to his own Judas Vec finisher from Hook to end the matchup. All I'm going to say, the only positive is Hook looked like a badass. But, I mean, Monty, what were your thoughts on this? Because, again, Cobb was cool as fuck, let's be fair.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing is, like you said, just the tandem of Samoa Joe and Hook and triplet basically with Shibata, of course. And I like them together. I also just like the fact that even if I think it's kind of funny, it's like a roundabout way for Jericho to still kind of say he put Hook over in a way, even though it took Samoa Joe and all of that to kind of make anybody get even remotely invested in a Hook Jericho type of storyline. But it is what it is. I think everybody knows at this point how a majority of the fan base feels about Jericho. I don't know. The gimmick, I don't know. How do you feel about him leaning into it as much? Is it working for any of you guys at all? Or do you guys get a chuckle? Because it is kind of goofy.
No,
I don't know, but
it's not. This character for me is just not working.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's insufferable.
It's like the character of Oklahoma, and I don't know if anybody remembers this in WCW, but it was a character that they created just to mock JR and his kind of cerebral palsy, but because it was like an inside joke with the boys, it just wasn't funny, and it feels like Jericho has got this, thing. And again, that doesn't work for me, brother. Might be funny, but when it's actually happening, it's kind of laughing at us. And that's the one thing I don't like,
Yeah, because your spot is still being taken up that when we could be providing for the Ricky Starks and the other guys who are just, nowhere to be found when you got so much talent that AEW has and you're spending time on something that because at this point Jericho does not need another gimmick to get himself over. Like we all over it at this point, so it's just kind of weird. But hey, like I said, like you said, the best part about this Hook won. He looked good, and we can at least take that from it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, Gina, we need to get Jeff Cobb versus Samoa Joe as well, don't we? That's what we need.
Definitely.
Oh my God, yes. As soon as those two stood in the ring looking opposite each other, I had goosebumps all over. I was like, no, I actually need this now. I never knew I needed this matchup, but now I need this matchup. So it definitely gave me chills. Jericho's thing is not working for me either. I'm not into that gimmick. I'm glad that Hook finally got the win though, because I was sick of. I think like Hook's had quite a few matches against Jericho now, and he's lost every single one. So if he lost this one as well, I would have just been like, Hook, retire before you even continue with your career. Because if you can't even get Jericho after your 5th match against him, then you're done. So I'm glad that like he got the win over him this time. But no, Samoa Joe and Jeff Cobb, please give me this match. I will pay money for it.
Right, and Jackson, like we said, let's get the title off Jericho. And let's move on with Hook. And the only, I suppose, the other good thing was Taz loved it. I suppose that he was enjoying himself one of the first few times.
He was definitely proud dad moment. I think you guys have said a lot about this match, but yeah, the right team won. I hope that we can start putting this to bed. Maybe have one more time of hooking Jericho so Hook can get his title back or whatnot. But I just, we could just do with like Jericho going on holiday for a bit. It did what it needed to do, and that was put Hook over. So
yeah, but this is the thing as well, Jax, is that we're 11 matches in, and it's just dragging us down.
Yeah,
we just don't.
Yeah, I feel like this definitely could have been a 0 hour based match. Or even just not been on the card. But that being said, you knew that they were going to kind of put Jericho in this position. So, it did what it needed to do. But yeah, it wasn't my favorite of the night at all.
No. Well, let's get scores then and move on as quick as we can. Monty, what would you give it?
3.5.
3.5. Gina?
Same, 3.5.
Jaxie?
I give this a 3.25.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 3.25 as well. Predictions, we went Team Hook. So Monty on 10, Jaxie on 9, James and Gina on 8. As the ladder match to crown a new TNT champion, Jack Perry versus Dante Martin versus Mark Briscoe versus Roosh versus Takeshita versus ELP. That Ring of Honor title must mean shit if Mark Briscoe wants the TNT championship. Anyway, about the match, the spots were death-defying, some scenarios and awe-inspiring in others. There's some great selling that had viewers question the legitimacy of the injuries. The crowd wanted Takeshita, but we all knew Jack Perry would win, your new TNT champion. Gina, what did you think of this? Because again, it might have been predictable, but my God, they were intent on killing each other before we got there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I literally, this match just went hard, and I literally didn't know who to look at or who to, keep my eye on, because it was just like mental from beginning to end. Like you said just now as well, James, Takeshita, that guy needs a push. He really does. His character is so good, and I don't understand why he's not more popular. I absolutely love him, and I couldn't take my eyes off him that match. I thought he did so well. He worked great with each and every one of them in that match as well. I would have been happy if he got the win, but I knew he wasn't going to. But I do hope that they push him at some point, because we all forget this guy got a win over Kenny Omega. Like this guy really should be pushed further. Twice. So again.
That's the thing, though. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, Monty, if he was in New Japan, would he, the way he is now, he'd be champion within a year, wouldn't he? Like Gina's saying, he's just got everything at this moment.
Yeah, no, 100%, definitely. I think he'd be on top I just the presentation is there, everything is there. It's just I don't know exactly what it is, to be honest. But it's a couple people like that where you just look at it and you're like, I think he got everything you're looking for, Tony. But it's something, so holding it back. And but I like to hold out hope that it's fine. Maybe it's the DDT. Maybe it's the fact that he's still loyal to DDT or something. But he's already kind of pretty much been AEW exclusive. I don't even really see much of his stuff in DDT at this point. I associate him more with AEW at this point, so I don't know what it is that stops them from pulling the trigger on it. But hopefully, hopefully one day we can look back and the guys like him and Malachi, and, you know what I mean, and we actually see them.
Yeah, I suppose,
Yeah, actually see them prominent. But this is not the only guy who you can look at and be like, why haven't you guys went all the way with it?
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Though. So, Gina, what else? What were your other thoughts from this? Well, because like I said, like even Dante Martin, I'm like, should they really be playing around after what happened last time?
I mean, exactly. To be fair, I was quite worried about, everyone's health in this match, especially Dante, because you knew he was going to do some crazy high-flying show-off skills somewhere in this match. And there were quite a few times I was like, oh, protect your head, protect your neck, screaming at the screen. But again, I think Dante just proved why he is able to contend with these other wrestlers in this match, He may still be quite fresh and new, but my God, he can keep up. And he's got so much energy that some of the others looked like they were struggling at points with him. So, yeah, I would watch Dante for sure in the future because he's definitely going to be pushed. Whether is pushed with his brother or singly, I think he could be really good as a single player because obviously his brother's been out quite a lot with injury. So that's why he's kind of more at the top of the scene than them being a tag team. But no, I definitely could see him being pushed a lot in his future. He just needs to have more matches like this to put behind his belt.
Yeah, he needs to recover from the concussion. And I think Leo Rush was injured as well. We saw the black ladders you could climb and Silver wants to hurt people. Jaxie, I mean, that's all we need really, isn't it? Because again, we see Briscoe trying to kill himself a couple of times, and what is it with the TNT title and failed elbow drops? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, but what is it with currently failed tables that don't want to break properly consistently? It's just honestly, it's becoming a running gag at this point, and it's actually it really pains me to see. It really, really pains me to see because it hurts so much more when the table doesn't break. So you just know that the wrestlers felt every single moment of that. So yeah, it's much harder to watch than you think. Yeah, and I also think that Mark Briscoe is just an absolute daredevil. He's kind of like he would fit right in with everyone at Jackass. Like he acts first, thinks never. That's the best way to think about things.
Right, and speaking about table bumps, the Blue Thunder was beautiful as well. But Monty, Monty, as you know, there's a few things that annoy me, and the question is, why did Jack not climb earlier? How many chances to climb and just get the title, but they just fuck around, didn't they? That's my only thing with ladder matches.
Yeah, man, sometimes you gotta cut your brain off watching some of these ladder matches, man. You just gotta stop thinking about it from a logical perspective of the goal is to get the belt or what briefcase or a belt, whatever it is up there. Sometimes, damn, we gotta get these spots in. Then I'll get to it's a spot fest. So yeah, I think that's kind of like what was going on there. You gotta get your timing right, but. Yeah, that it needs in a modern age. This is what we get from our demolition derby style multi-man ladder matches, and you're either in it 100% and you love everything, and you just love the fact that they're out there trying to kill themselves on your entertainment, or you wincing and like, damn man, slow down, relax, or you're like, come on man, I thought the purpose of this match is to become champion. So, again, I think this is great. This is entertaining. Everybody had their moments, and that's kind of like what you want. I do think I don't know. I think it's almost weird to me that AEW. Not that it's all a trope, but isn't it something that when someone is selling something at this point, none of us can really pick out whether something is really wrong or they're just playing up to something. Like that's the only thing I don't really like about it. I'm kind of getting like you, James, when it comes to the whole thing, because as far as I know, Leo's the only one who came from this legit miss dates because of this. But we don't know. You never know who's hurting. They just had kept them off TV or whatever. But yeah, man, you're always worried about their health after these type of matches. But it was a fun ride, so that's why I always tip my cap when they try to entertain us in the way they choose to do it. But yeah, man, this was a fun ride.
Well, like I said, I hate stretchy jobs, so I'm going to maybe talk about that in a little bit. Anyway, waiting for this. Gina, what would you give it?
I'll give it a 4.
Give it a 4. Jaxie?
I'll give this a 4.25.
And Monty?
Yeah, I'm going 4.25.
Yeah, I went 4.25 as well. Predictions, we all went Perry. So Monty on 11, Jaxie on 10, James and Gina on 9. And then up next, title for title, Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vaquer. Vaquer impressed here, and Matt fans in Long Island on her side, who set the tone for the match and outclassed Moné for the majority of the bout. After one-sided beatdown at the hands of her opponent, Moné got the win with the bank statement. I mean, this was put in a bad spot, but I mean, Jaxie, what were your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I too felt like this could have had. I excuse me. I really did feel like this could have been in the Chris Jericho spot of match, and I think that would have worked a lot better. I feel like the crowd were kind of quiet throughout the very beginning of this match. I don't think it was any fault of the ladies, but I think they were very tired, you know? So yeah, this match itself though, I enjoyed it. I liked seeing Mercedes on form. I think that she worked well with Stephanie. I feel like this could have been given a bit more time. Like I just always kind of feel like there's some form of rush to see Mercedes get that win. And I'm not entirely sure it's like needed, you know? So I would have liked a bit longer on this match. But that being said, I enjoyed what we got out of it, especially with what happened after too.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is as well, Lo, like you said, with the crowd, it was like a Boston chant as well, which, and they booed Moné, so you kind of, you're going, oh, right, like I said.
Yeah.
But again, Monty, we spoke about Moné, and she always does deliver, even though Jaxie is right, this was kind of more of a showcase for Stephanie at this moment in time.
100%, and I'm a big fan of Stephanie Vaquer. She's just one of the best in the world. And I think if this is like some type of way to leverage at some point to get Stephanie more spotlight in the future in AEW, I'm all for it because she's just been one of the best down under in Mexico, in Japan. She's been one of the best around the world for a while now, and I think that's what they were trying to put over. Like you said, the first third or basically half of this match was all of Stephanie stretching her out, doing a lot of the moves that she does, and the planchas and all of that, just beautiful stuff. And I that was my favorite element of this match. That at the end of the day, as much as this moment was about Mercedes, I think if you watch the match, you can't tell me that Stephanie isn't a star or someone to watch going forward. And I think that was kind of like my main takeaway from the actual wrestling. Good, solid stuff. Really good match, about what you would expect. But I think they both could have go to an extra gear. I've seen both of them do better. And I just felt like at the end of the day, this was a good spotlight for Stephanie and made Stephanie, in a losing effort, look like a badass. And I think that's what she deserves. I think me and you, James, we remember kind of like how this played out. with Mercedes. We both knew that open weight belt was basically made for her. You know what I'm saying? So I think even with the Willow and all of that, and I think we all kind of knew that she was going to come back for that belt at some point, especially when she's been talking about her global. The reason why she wanted to be in AEW is to make this go global. So, that just screamed to me that she wasn't done with New Japan or wasn't done with traveling around the world and working. And I think this is, like I said, for that point of view, I think it was awesome. But I also would like Stephanie to get more spotlight, possibly get a championship again, because she's just that damn good. And I want to explain the crowd too. If you guys don't know, it's a regional thing. Like the New York and Boston, they hate each other, especially in sports. And the Boston Celtics just won a NBA championship. I heard someone was there in a Celtics jersey, and he kept talking about how much he loved Mercedes. She's from Boston, and there go the F Mercedes shit when it comes to screw Boston, because New York or Long Island, anybody up there, they hate Boston. So, yeah,
right.
That's kind of like what happened there.
That makes a little bit more sense, but
yeah,
I'd say.
But like you talked about, Stephanie was oppressive, and Gina, there was one moment, I think the knees to Monet would look like she was murdering her.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I will say that Monet made Stephanie look like really, really good. I hadn't seen her in a match before, so I was just like, okay, well, her promos have done her justice. Her promos have done her well. It looks like Stephanie's like a great wrestler, but like, is Monet going to bury her or, So for me, I think Monet made her look really good. And again, like you said, with the knees to Monet at that point, I thought, oh shit, is she out? Is that it? So for me, I definitely enjoyed this match, and I enjoyed getting to know Stephanie as a wrestler.
Yeah, I think without doubt, And again, the big question, and as Monty said as well, this opens the door for Monet for Japan. But what's next for an AEW? Well, we saw Britt Baker make a long-awaited return and the stare down. It looks like we're going to get the match at All In, and it is legitimately one of the biggest kind of matches to have at this stage. And credit to him again, Jaxie. I mean, this is kind of what we want, and seeing Britt Baker come back as well,
exactly.
It's great, especially after we heard.
I think there's a lot of people that. Yeah, I think there was a lot of people that didn't realize how much they really would miss Britt Baker as a character, and to actually have her make her return to Mercedes Moné, who's holding the TBS title, means that that's Britt is going for that belt next. And that makes it a little bit more exciting for me, because we have seen Britt in the AEW Women's title picture for a while, so I was wondering when we were going to get a TBS title run for Britt. So really just excited to see kind of her return. Do I think like immediately they're going to be changing belts? I'm not too sure. But I'm not too sure like how quick they're going to shove this on us. I don't know whether or not they'll try and slowly build Britt back in, or if she's just going to instantly kind of get given that opportunity. Either way, I'm excited. I can't wait to see that.
So what would you score the match out of 5?
I think altogether, I'll give this a 4. I thought it was good. But yeah, 4.
4. Monty?
Oh yeah. Also, I give it a 4 and a quarter, and an extra quarter for me because Stephanie did one of my favorite moves in wrestling, the skull fuck.
Gina?
I'll give this a 4 and a quarter as well. The quarter for Britt's return, because I was super excited to see it. I was slightly hoping that we were going to get Jamie come back with her as well. Jamie goes straight back to Tony for her main belt, but I thought maybe they're holding off on Jamie's return. I don't know how her injury is looking, whether she's fit and better or not. So yeah, I'm not going to be disappointed with Britt returning here. So extra quarter for that.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 4 and a quarter as well. Predictions. We all went Monet, so it means Monty's on 12, Jackson 11, James and Gina on 10. We then find out New Japan have got a new event, January 5th, Tokyo Wrestle Dynasty, which will be AEW as well. Now, Monty, Is this going to be like a Forbidden Door event in Japan? Because it's the day after Wrestle Kingdom. We're still getting to use Dash as well. But I assume with AEW logo on it, we will see talent.
Yeah, I can't wait to see who they decide to send and how they decide to present it, because I'm with you. It feels like the announcement felt like, okay, we're going to get a Forbidden Door, but it's going to be in Japan, which is, cool because, they've been doing a good job of expanding AEW's reach in Japan. If you go to In New Japan World, they cross, commentating the shows and all of that for Japanese audiences. And their imagery is getting bigger, at least just from association and all the work that they've been doing. And maybe with this being in the works, you can kind of explain away a lot of the decision that's been made. But it'd be very interesting, because you mentioned Okada earlier and how he would never come back, and then for him to be end up on that card or something, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's funny, but we'll see.
Bolton Oleg or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how they decide to market it and who's on it. Like, do we get another Omega sighting or Moxley? Like, who's on that card is going to really determine my hypeness about it. Because, like you mentioned, with it being so close to Wrestle Kingdom, I'm not expecting it to be a stacked card because, that's the whole point of Wrestle Kingdom is to stack card and put all your chips on the deck. So if they decide to do that and book a crazy card after that, I will be really interested to see how that's going to look based on what we're used to seeing from Wrestle Kingdom. But it's a dope announcement, though, because, again, AEW being in that market, because even as big as WWE is, they're not even, hugely in the Japan market, like, to that extent. So it'll be really, really cool if AEW could just continue to grow in general like they're doing with Wembley, and use this show to do that in Japan.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Monty, it gets serious now because it's the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. Jon Moxley versus Naito. Jim Ross joined the commentary and expressed frustration over Naito spitting in Moxley's face. Right, stating no one ever beat anybody spitting at them. Moxley's whole frustration was inability to put Naito away. But the good news is Monty doesn't have to quit the pod. After the exchange of finishers and Red Shoes not counting free after a Death Rider, not sure about that, the Destino and your new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Tetsuya Naito. Monty, what were your thoughts on this?
He's a five-time IWGP Heavyweight Champion. But it's about, hey man, you know how I feel, man. I put my lot on the line for this decision to go in the right direction because, like I said, we spent a big chunk of our year pretty much. When was the win this year? Was that like February? Like, when was that show? February, March? Okay, it was April. So I see that shows you where my mind was at. I'm thinking we spent more of the year than we have. But these last few months have been rough without a world champion, without something for a lot of the talent to chase. It's been really, really tough. So to get our top championship back and to have Naito back on top of the mountain right before the G1 so we can kind of line up and see who he could possibly be fighting going into the biggest show for Japan going into next year at Wrestle Kingdom. I think this is perfect. Was it the best match? No. I saw a lot of people blaming Naito and just saying he's not who he used to be. Yeah, and that's fair. He's not who he used to be, but I would also say that I've seen him have better outings this same year. So I think a lot of that got to do with the length of the card. A lot of that got to do with the placement, and just the fact that, honestly, after everything we had seen up to this point, what else? How far were they going to be able to go in this match? And then think about what they did in Chicago, James. Like, they were bleeding. They did all of that. So it's like you're either going to go fully into that and go even more brutal than the Chicago match, or you're just going to have a match. So I thought it did the job, and Naito won.
Yeah, but the Naito character is kind of all about head games. And again, if the crowd don't really know that he's intentionally kind of slow.
Yeah, that's true too.
Do you know what I mean? Like the entrance, all this kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, the finish was nasty, but it was a bit like the finish of like Naito versus Sanada early in the year, if you know what I mean. So again, it's just kind of like a misstep. But I mean,
I agree.
Gina,
And hold up, and to mention that too, but that's why I say the length of the show, because you're doing that pace, and you're 12 matches in, and Naito and them are used to like being 8 matches in, maybe, or 9 matches in, but you're that deep into a show and you're working slow. I can see how it didn't, do well. But anyway.
No, but I was going to say, like, Gina, obviously with Moxley, wearing his New Japan colours, it shows he cares about it. But did the experiment work with him winning the IWGP World Championship? Has this run actually helped at all?
What do you mean helped Mox in terms of
helped Mox? Has it helped New Japan? Has it made Naito a bigger star? Do you know what I mean? Like, the reasonings for them doing this.
This is a difficult question, because in a way I want to say yes, and in another way I want to say no, because I feel like it's worked in terms of, I'm sure a few more fans have tuned into New Japan because they're fans of Mox, and once he won that belt, he kind of like possibly brought some of his fandom over to New Japan. But has he done anything as significant with that belt, and between now and between him winning and losing it? I'm not sure, I'm not sure he's done enough to like make as much of a difference as what they kind of maybe would expect to come from it. But maybe not. And to be honest, I'm kind of not surprised at him losing it here. I didn't think he was going to take it into the G1 Cup. I thought Naito will probably carry that in. So, and I think had they probably done a bit more with Mox to promote this belt, we could have gone into this match more thinking of, could it be Mox taking this into the G1, but for me, I did go into this thinking Naito's going to take it. So yeah, I don't know whether it's just like the lack of time
as well.
Huh?
Because we talk about the reign, but I mean, what do you think about the match? Because again, a lot of people are going, they didn't mesh really well.
No, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed the match. So it may not have been everybody's cup of tea, but I really enjoyed this match. Again, I do watch some New Japan, but I've not been able to watch as much because I'm very behind in wrestling, and I'm trying to catch up. But every time I see Naito in New Japan, I'm excited, and that's still portrayed in this match for me. I was still excited to see them. Was it the best match that I've seen these two have? No, because we definitely have seen a better match between them on the actual New Japan show. But I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed having the nostalgia, having them come back together, So I did enjoy the match. And again, apart from me kind of knowing like that Naito was still going to take the win, I still thought that they both fought well. So I don't have anything bad to say about it.
Jaxie, this is what Forbidden Door should be, really, isn't it? Red shoes, introductions, big AEW star versus a big New Japan star. It's just a shame Tony takes all the New Japan stars.
Yeah. I mean, again, I agree with a lot of what you were, all of you have been saying about this match, but it did really feel like a big deal at the very beginning, at the very start. Seeing Red Shoes, hearing both sets of commentators hype this up. They had been doing this all night, but for some reason, like it felt real during this match. I agree. I don't think that this was the best match between Naito and Mox. I think that they've done better. I feel like we got a more subtle Mox. I feel like Mox decided to take it a little bit easy, a little in this match. To be honest, I didn't feel the same sort of rage come from Mox during this match. So I feel like there was like part of him that was just more enjoying it rather than being like super angry Mox, and maybe that's kind of where like the dip was when it came to this match. Either way, it was still enjoyable, and I'm really happy with the outcome.
Monty, what you score out of 5?
Yeah, man, I give it a 4. I thought it was again solid match, great atmosphere, but again, Chicago was really really special. It was way better. And but at the same time, like you mentioned, I think both guys kind of decided to just get the job done. So yeah.
Gina.
Yeah, I think a 4 is fair.
Yeah, I think it is. Jaxie.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 as well. Predictions, we all went Naito. So it means Monty on 13, Jaxie on 12, James Jr. on 10. So Monty is 1 away from a perfect score. This really did backfire in my face, I'm not going to lie. But we're going to do it. AEW World Championship, Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay. We saw MJF and Daniel Garcia shown watching from afar. Both the main eventers had great entrances. Electricity in the arena was off the charts for the opening introductions. But it was Will Ospreay's moral dilemma costing him the AEW World Championship. Late in the contest, Don Callis presented him a screwdriver to use on Swerve, a weapon that almost certainly would deliver him the title. He chose not to use it and also resisted utilising the devastating Tiger Night 1 finisher. The result, a disappointing conclusion to the pursuit to the top prize of the company as Strickland capitalised, ramped up the intensity of his attack and put the number one contender away with the house call. Gina, what were your thoughts on this main event?
Oh my God, this match was just so good. I just really, like you said, from the beginning with the entrances all the way to the end, it was just so good. I mean, I don't think I can do this match justice. There were so many high jumps that both men took. There were so many horrible hits that both men took. For me, I knew that there wasn't going to be like any like tomfoolery of anyone else getting involved. I think the two men had enough respect for each other.
Don did right at the end, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, obviously, apart from like Don Callis, like I think they both wrestlers had enough respect for each other to not want any interference from anybody else in the match. I have to say, one of my biggest highlights is seeing Prince Nana smack up Don. I would pay to see that again. I would literally pay Nana to just take out Don. Just do it for us all, Nana. The fans want it. That was brilliant. So yeah, I really liked that. And again, the match itself was just brilliant. I can't fault it at all.
And even Excalibur saying, Don Callis fell even more just to try and get, Ospreay to take out Swerve. But I mean, Jaxie, like I said, the story in this matchup as well, even with Strickland patting Ospreay on the head, like a sign of respect, but even saying to him, like, it's just not your night tonight,
Yeah, I mean, like, that to me was nowhere near like a sign of disrespect or anything like that. There was like a respect there from Swerve, but being like, it's not your time, but it would be soon, sort of thing. I really enjoyed kind of seeing this little display between Will and Swerve, especially because the match was just so hard. There was like one moment in the match where I think Will was like in front of the sort of announce table and was just about to Swerve went to the top rope and like he just jumped straight off the top rope all the way down to Will, planting him straight on the announce table. It looked so painful, but at the same time, you just saw that, the awareness of both men and how they, Will sort of jumped up to meet Swerve's legs, so that there was an impact there. There was no way that Swerve was going to miss that. And I appreciate sportsmanship like that, because that is how you put on a great match, taking daring moves and risks, and yet still looking after your fellow wrestler. So yeah, this match from beginning to end just wowed me. Both men are title holders for a reason, Yeah,
without doubt, the two of the best in the world. And like you said as well, Bret Hart always said, you put your life in your opponent's hands, and you saw it there with these two top-tier athletes. Ospreay paid tribute to late Hayabusa as well and dedicated a match to his grandmother. But I'm going to say my only issue, and then I'm going to give it to Monty, because Monty, you know what my issue is. We've mentioned this before. This wasn't Forbidden Door. Don't get me wrong. Two of the best in AEW going at it in the main event, fine. But if this happened last year, awesome. But this was kind of like Tony showing New Japan what they lost. Even with like the Cole Fletcher stuff, or the Mercedes Moné, or the Jack Perry, or the Moxley, or the Okada, and now the Will Ospreay in the main event, Again, I don't know. That's what it just felt like. Yeah, I made the list.
Yeah, look at the list. Yeah, look at the list, man. But yeah, no. That's the thing. I think that's 100% some truth to that, man. He's kind of he showed in the match before this that he kind of remembered the original thought process behind it, but then yeah, in the main event. And even throughout the night, we mentioned the odd pairings and some of the just throw a New Japan guy in here. Oh, okay, we don't want to throw a New Japan guy to lose the match. Let's throw a CMLL guy in here. Like you guys mentioned it. Where's the Dave Finleys? Where's the other people who are prominent New Japan talent? Why aren't they, brought over? You know what I mean? I'm with you. I get it. That's a perfect criticism, at least for the formation of the match. And I think that's the funny part about it. No?
I think that's my one criticism as well. Is after the match, like I just realized, like,
yeah,
like it all like to be fair, AEW talent dominated this whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
That was a bit disappointing.
And I think it's funny because it's like he booked Ospreay like he's not AEW, but at this point he is like, you know what I mean? At this point he represents AEW too. So like it's funny. It's very, very funny. But yeah, no, 100%. I mean, outside of Zack and Naito, everyone else pretty much. I think they're the only New Japan guys who actually won. If I can think about it, I might be wrong or missing something. But either way it goes,
is why I went LIJ.
Yeah, exactly. I understand. I understood your thought process. Just like, but I'm with you. It's one of those things, and it's why it always goes back to the underlying story of just the relationship at this point. If you go back to what the relationship felt like on the very first Forbidden Door show that we all shared together and watched, one of my favorite shows, probably still my favorite show I ever watched in New Japan. The energy around that, the whole entire night felt like New Japan versus AEW, and it just. That entire element is gone, mostly because the biggest names in New Japan are now under AEW's banner, and it's not really any trade off there. It's not you don't have an AEW guy, running around. Even when they had Jack Perry there, he was there for how long before they were ready to angle him back to AEW. So it's very, very weird, But they're still working partners, I guess. With Rocky Romero in the office of both shows. I guess that's good that they working together. I don't know, but I've been saying that AEW has been benefiting, doing wonders for themselves in this partnership. And I'm tired of beating that dead horse. This match is incredible, though. Like you mentioned, it's unfortunate that you kind of think about that after this, but these two guys, the chemistry, I would love to see them do it again at some point. I also love the kind of even with the Callis run in, it was a great storytelling point because I think all of us can see that Ospreay is bigger than that family. He has to get out. Like, we all know that. So, like, can he get Fletcher out too? Can he? How is that going to turn out? Like, how is he going to turn Fletcher against him?
Fletcher's been
way too nice. Exactly. Exactly. So, will Fletcher join him, or will Callis turn Fletcher against them? It's very interesting thought process, at least going forward, that they can take it. So I think that's an underlying theme, and that's why Callis being there didn't really hurt me as much. But yeah, man, this was good, really, really good, incredible match. I can't do it justice as far as the work, and I think I love the fact, and I don't know how much you guys know about this, but Ospreay after the fact, or I don't know how this got out or who told, but apparently it was Ospreay's idea to do this because he was tired of the narratives of everybody saying, since we're going to Wembley, that Ospreay needed to be the guy. So he wanted to fight the guy in Swerve and kind of give Swerve the spotlight that he deserved as the top champion. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if that's all Ospreay or whatever. I don't know who the hell how can you even find that out? That Ospreay, other than talking to Tony and them yourself, like how do you find that out? That Ospreay suggested. Ospreay told him himself. I guess maybe that's what it is. Yeah. So,
but the thing is, well, yeah, even with that point, is that Ospreay will be, if not like
he's going to be the
champion,
guy.
He's the next year. So again, he can say what he fucking wants. You know what I mean? It's not like jumping out to Swerve is that bad. But I think we all agree it was our match of the night. Again, I don't think there was a better 100%. Match on this card. So what we'll do then is MVP.
I agree.
And rating. We'll do MVP and rating. So, Gina, who's your MVP of the night? And what's your rating out of 10?
I'm going to give it to Swerve. And wait, did we rate the match for Swerve?
I just said 5 for everybody, but I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah, it is 5 for me.
Yeah. Okay. Thank God. Okay. Yeah. So it's a 5 for me. The thing is, like you said, I'm really disappointed with the lack of New Japan kind of crossover we got for this when this whole pay-per-view is created for that reason. So, I mean, they even fumbled. They could have brought David Finlay and all of his lot over to fight Jay White and the Ass Boys. Like they could have done anything like that and it would have made it feel that much more of a crossover. So for that reason, I am deducting points, even though I've rated quite a few of the matches well. I am deducting points for that. So it's going to be a 7 for me.
7 for you. Jaxie, same. Gina, who's your MVP of the night?
Oh, I think I said Swerve.
Swerve, yeah. Right, cool. Jaxie?
Yeah, I agree. I think that I was overall disappointed with the lackluster of sort of crossover we really did get. I thought we'd have like a lot more like potential crossovers when it came to the United Empire, and sort of, you know, how lackluster I sort of, and they got taken the loss. I thought there would just be a lot more like sort of like group activities and reunions that would add to these matches and the caliber of them. I'm also just kind of disappointed at how many L's like sort of those considered to be New Japan took. So I'm also going to give it I'm going to give it a 7.5. For overall rating. Swerve is my MVP.
Swerve's MVP. And Monty?
I think it's an 8 if you change the name of it, because it's not, like you said, it's not Forbidden Door anymore. Like, who's really crossing? Like, a couple guys are really crossing lines, but really, is it really even forbidden at this point since you guys work together year round? Like, especially with CMLL. Yeah, it's just a door at this point. I mean, most of the guys that you built the first one on are on your roster, and CMLL been invading all year, so that's not forbidden. And you know what I mean? Like, the more I think about it, it's just not the same card anymore. But good, it was a good show overall. And I'm gonna be biased because I swear probably deserves my MVP, but I'm gonna give it to Naito because he saved my championship. And let's get ZSJ versus Naito, Wrestle Kingdom, Tokyo Dome, please. ZSJ versus Naito, they have history. And I think that's the perfect guy to pass it on to. If everybody's so ready to get rid of Naito as champion, give it to Zach, and I think we'll all be happy. But anyway, besides that, that's another that has nothing to do with this. I agree with the ladies. 7.5 is probably the fairest rating because I 100% agree. The theme is just completely off. Great show. Everyone did great. Good moments, good wrestling. But it's just no longer the Forbidden Door show. We're going to have to come up with something else because unless we're going to actually have Shota Umino and, you know, where was the House of Torture? Like, yeah, I just thought about House of Torture is all over my New Japan.
Seriously, wait,
but they're nowhere to be found here.
How the hell? Actually, you just literally reminded me. This was one of the points I forgot to bring up earlier. How the hell did we not even see any House of Torture cameos in the ladder match for Jack Perry? What Jack Perry had done with them, like, again, just missed out on such a great opportunity. Yeah, that annoyed me too.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm just saying, they're all over New Japan TV and nowhere to be found here. And we're supposed to believe this has something to do with New Japan. But go ahead.
I'm going to give it an 8.25, and my MVP of the night is the man Gina should be with, Zack Sabre Jr. Predictions. We all went Swerve. So final scores. I mean, Gina, you and I got 12. Which is great. I think 12 out of 14 is just fantastic, you know. But I think
Monty.
But I think what makes my day, what makes my day, is that Jaxie got 13 out of 14 and still didn't win. I mean, that's just great, you know. That is, isn't
it? That's so gut-wrenching.
Yeah, I know.
That was gut wrenching. That was definitely gut wrenching.
You beat me, Gina, for no reason. Like there was.
No, I fully am satisfied at beating you, so I really don't mind
Yeah, but you get
that.
nothing from
Congrats
it.
to Monty, though.
Get
Yeah.
nothing.
Oh,
Well,
congrats, Monty.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
well,
congrats
This
to
should
Monty
guarantee
because
this one.
that's an
This.
accomplishment. 14
Well,
matches and
Monty.
you got a clean sweep. Well
You're
done,
right.
Monty.
Yes.
100%. 2
Somehow
points.
Monty cheated and got 14 out of
Yes.
That
14.
wasn't coming from
I
me.
bumped the line.
Yeah, I
Just
don't know
like
what the fuck
TK.
happened there. And again, yeah, an extra 2 bonus points as well, which again,
Yes,
it means
sir.
Monty gets
Well
his first
done,
AW win and goes 1-1 with Gina. Me and Jaxie on 2, and Monty moves to 20 points on the bonus score. We're going to have to start doing like 5 points for a perfect score soon, just to try and catch it.
Yep.
Anyway, before we go, just quick Dynamite notes. Beach Blast. The guy with a big black and jack top, sit the fuck down. It's dipshits like you that ruin viewing wrestling in person. I don't know, maybe I was going to rent there. Mercedes Moné got told to shut the fuck up, and MJF turned heel on Danny Garcia. I mean, Jaxie, were you shocked by MJF turning on Danny Garcia? And we got a stretchy job as well.
That I am shocked, but only because I haven't watched AEW yet. So I didn't know.
Yeah, you just
I
said
didn't
that,
know.
didn't you? I've just ruined that for you. Yeah, no, I apologise. I mean, I was
It's
shocked.
okay. Don't worry. I was going to see it after this anyway. So yeah, but that does not surprise me in the slightest. This MJF, welcome back to the old asshole MJF coming back. I miss him, so I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Well, at least I've not told you McIntyre's world champion, have I? So that is it for today. Don't forget, because all social media, Twitter at the WNR Podcast, I'm at WJR. You can find the entire WNR team on the Twitter banner. Monty, where can people find and follow you?
Find me at my Monty Pod. I have to regain my victory of over the next Wrestle Kingdom, but after Forbidden Door, just one time for me, James. Go ahead, call me a deity. Come on, just one time.
You are the New Japan deity, the prediction king. It is Monty.
Oh, yeah, that felt good. All right, yeah. At my Monty Pod.
Jaxie, where can people find and follow you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Jaxie Scarlett.
And Gina?
You can find me on the same at Purple Pain.
And the WNR also on Facebook and Instagram, across all Google platforms. Send us an email at WNRpodcast@gmail.com. And YouTube, WNR Podcast will release clips and podcasts at the same time on YouTube. Do SoundCloud on your phone, also Spotify and iTunes, where you can download, subscribe, rate, and review there. So our next episode is next week with Money in the Bank. Until then, I've been James Rowlands, and I was joined by the fantastic Jaxie Scarlett. Well done, Jaxie. I mean, this is not going to sound. This is going to sound, condescending, whatever it is. But you did great today. Well
Thanks.
done, you.
I will get there. And you'll see it, and it will be sweet. So until next time.
Without a doubt. And of course, the new AEW expert as well, the mind of Monty. Who would have seen that coming, eh? Who would have seen it?
You said AEW expert. See, I'm gonna be like MJF with his babyface run on the return. I'm gonna be right back off after All In. I don't have that much faith in myself, but yeah, thank you.
And of course, the genius of Gina. I mean, I feel like I let you down by going for the same predictions, and I've got to apologise.
It's okay. I forgive you, James. Don't worry.
I can guarantee.
Well, I didn't tap into the G site hard enough, So next time I'm going to have to try and, beat Monty's score.
Exactly. Well, it's next week. It's Money in the Bank. Come on. We've got this.
Do this.
We can do this.
Do this.
Let's stop Monty. But thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.